Hey, this is Rob.
And John.
And Steve.
And Brian.
Of Division
1.1.
And you are listening to SNDPODCAST on the Schmucks Sports Network.
Welcome to episode 59, the last S&D podcast show of 2013. Dan, what's going on this week?
Not much. It's been a fun ride this year. A lot of ups and downs and twists and turns and a lot of what the hell happened or wow, we got lucky that happened. But there's mostly been what the hell happened this year.
I know we're going to talk about it later, but can you believe that 2013 was the last time you're going to see greatest closer of all time?
Yeah, it's definitely sad to see.
And arguably the best player we've ever watched.
Yeah, yes, it's going to be sad to see. It's going to be...
In Rivera.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see number 40, no one wearing number 42 coming in to save a game for the Yankees. Unlike, I know for majority of people of our age, we only know Mariano Rivera, and that's scary. That's right. That pretty much, I got into baseball right at the same time as him and Jeter and all those guys, so it's crazy those guys are starting to weed out, and that's how old we're starting to feel, and it's kind of crazy. So our youth is dwindling.
All these like rookies and stuff are like 4 years younger than us.
Yeah, it's starting to get weird. But it's been a great year. I know we've had a lot of disappointment being in New York sports media right now, but nonetheless, it was a fun year. Honestly, we had our moments with the Knicks and Nets both making the playoffs. Unfortunately, not the same with the Jets, Giants, Mets, and Yankees. The Islanders and Rangers both made the playoffs. Right now, they're teetering, so hopefully when we do the review in 2014, if we do it, we get to see awesome epic comebacks for the Rangers and Islanders. And maybe the Knicks and Nets, since I saw in the paper today that the Toronto, as of January 30th, the Toronto Raptors are in first place with a 13-17 record right now.
This is December 30th.
December 30th. Sorry, I said January. December 30th. That is, oh my God, that is just awful. So the Knicks and Nets could easily find a way to get it going.
I'm sorry, but I'm feeling a little betrayed by the Knicks because
it's
Chris Smith.
Oh my God, the Chris Smith era is over. I'm so disappointed. He has to understand it's a business. And he was just on the bench, the 12th guy on the bench, and he never played. The only minute he got was the minute in the blowout game on Christmas when they were down by 50 points already, and he got a couple of foul shots.
The worst player in the developmental league ever.
Yeah, who said that again?
I forgot who said it, but somebody said it.
Yeah, someone tweeted that out.
Anywho, we got a fun show this week. This week's song is not Division 1.1, by the way. It's Intermezzo by my good friend Rob Barden, who's actually going to be joining us a little later. We're going to recap the Jet season with him, the 2013 Jet season, and see what his thoughts are for the 2014 offseason and what he would like to see next year out of the Jets. Right now, let's go play a little more of his song, and we'll be right back.
This is Darren from the 7 Line, and you're listening to the S&D podcast on the Schmuck Sports Network.
Welcome back to S&D Podcast. Thanks once again. Thanks for Rob Barden to let us play his song Intermezzo for this week's 2013 recap. Unfortunately, Stephen, the New York Football Giants ended 2013 on a note.
I'll take the ending a lot better than the beginning. Yeah,
they did end up winning, being the San Francisco 49ers. So what am I? The Washington Redskins in a boring slugfest. It was just happy the season ended. Unlike me, I was very happy in my recliner. I'm sure Steve is still drying from yesterday.
Ugh, it was wet.
Gross. This season was very interesting. A lot of ups and definitely a lot more downs than ups this year. This was the first year that we had a lot of chinks in the armor, per se. This offseason is going to be very interesting and fun to see what Jerry Reese and the Giants front office is going to do with all the free agents that we have coming off the books and what we're going to do in the draft. This year is particularly, we're the 12th pick this year. That's normally really low for us. We're normally in the middle of the pack.
My dad
or the 32nd pick when we do make a playoff run.
We need beef.
You need beef.
Some side of the line. Doesn't matter. We just need beef.
Yeah, I preferably want to beef up the offensive line again. I really like how Justin Pugh played. He was the first rookie since Lawrence Taylor to play every single game in his rookie year, which is kind of.
And he played well.
And honestly, he played really well. He played much better than Will Beatty. And he was.
I'm sick and tired of hearing Will Beatty's the most athletic guy on the team. He gets beat on every play.
Yeah, it was just an overall rough year for the offensive line of just everybody staying healthy. Unfortunately, you'd think unfortunately the careers of Chris Nee is probably going to end.
David Deal
is going to retire unless he takes a big pay cut to just play and be that backup lineman. It was just that rough year with the offensive line. Kevin Bass is not going to be coming back.
Kevin Booth.
Oh, he's a free agent too. Isn't Bass?
I don't know. Is his name Kevin?
David Bass. I'm sorry.
Kevin Booth, David Bass.
Yeah. Sorry, I had them both thinking in my head right now.
Kevin Booth is a free agent.
But the thing with Kevin Booth is, he's very versatile. I would like to. Thing was with him, we could definitely get him back. I would love to get him back. Because he's able to play center. He's been playing backup center. He's able to play guard, and if he needed him to play tackle, I'm sure he can too. He's a very smart guy and a very good team player to be around. He's won both Super Bowl teams, so I would like to have Booth back.
Who I thought played really well this year on the line, underratedly, before he got hurt, was Crodel. Jim Crodel played really well at center.
He played pretty decently at times. He obviously had his moments because he was a backup, and he is a backup. But for the most part, he did play surprisingly well, and the offensive line started to gel when he was on the line. And it was really crazy to think that because in the preseason, he had every shot to win that starting center job while Bass was hurt. So it was very refreshing to see that the Giants are starting to use little younger guys, try to see what's going on with that. I think we could definitely beef up the offensive line. Hopefully that tackle from Michigan is still on the board.
Lewin.
And that would be nice.
The only biggest issue with Lewin is his injury prone. He's always wobbling, but he stays healthy. He was supposed to be a top 3 pick last year.
Yeah.
Every board. Mel Kiper, who's the other guy from ESPN?
Mel Kiper and what's his face? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Todd McShay.
Todd McShay, yeah.
Both had him in the top 3. The number 1 offensive lineman going in last year's draft was that.
I'm sure Madoc had him high as well.
So it's all about his health, but you know what? If you can get him at number 12, I wouldn't mind it at all. Put him on the other side. You'll have Pugh on one side and him on the other side.
And another thing, as much as no one, I'm sure most people will agree with me. I don't want to close the book on David Wilson because he did have a rough season to go at it. He didn't have the offensive line to help him clear the holes when he was healthy. And then when he finally started to get going, his last game with the Eagles, he scored a touchdown. But unfortunately, he had a neck injury, and they had to put him on IR. Depending on the severity of the injury, I think we should invest on another running back. Invest in another running back, maybe in a draft, or re-signing Andre Brown and Peyton Hillis.
We're going to talk in a little bit about keeps and
I think we should be inclined to drafting another running back, maybe
a late guy.
Maybe
was it you who said last week the kid from Boston College?
Maybe if we can get him in the second round, maybe third round, something like that. A good, solid running back who is able to share the load with David Wilson, who could be the change of pace guy, which we know he can be. He could bust it 90 yards. We've seen it. And especially with the injury coming back with David Wilson, there's no guarantee he will be ever be the same again. But we're hoping he will be. But necks are tricky things, especially at running back. And you can definitely tell, but that's okay. David Wilson's not an every down running back. But honestly, most of the running backs in today's game, like Reggie Bush's, Darren Sproles, aren't. And honestly, if we can get another running back along what Andre Brown was supposed to be with David Wilson, that'd be good to see as well.
You know what I'm also going to be interested to see? What if they do both come back?
I would.
Why not? If there isn't a running back on the board when we pick, Let's say
I'm totally
bring the two of them in, and let's see the two of them work together.
I'm with that. I'm really with that.
Because I think it could be a lot like the first Super Bowl run of 07 with Bradshaw. Not that, the following year with Bradshaw and Jacobs. The year after the Super Bowl.
No, yeah, I'm with you with Ward rushing for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, with Ward. Who, you have that speed guy in Wilson, and then you have that change of pace guy in heavy hitter, put your head down, run over a guy in Andre Brown.
Yep, and then have the guy to close it out with Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, you can even keep Peyton Hillis as your third guy.
I would take that. I would definitely take that. I liked what Peyton Hillis did, especially coming into the system halfway through the season, not playing for a year. He really impressed me. He obviously had his moments. He's really slow as hell, but he did get the job done when we needed him to do it more times than not. So I would definitely bring him back for the right price. Obviously, that's the key situation. Let's talk about the defense. The biggest question mark coming off of next season is can JPP stay healthy? And is JPP ever gonna come back from the 2011/2012 year? Is he ever gonna be that 16 sack guy ever again? Even to have double-digit sacks, he hasn't been healthy the last 2 years, and it's totally showing. Is Justin Tuck coming back? I say yes, he has to come back.
I said it last week on the show. When you look at Justin Tuck, you think of Michael Strahan.
Yeah, 100%.
Dying a giant.
And you never thought, if you said Justin Tuck would get double-digit sacks this year, no one said no. But the way he's played, he got the 11 sacks this year. On top of how good he played the run this year, he has to come back. There's no doubt about it. He's our linchpin to that defense while JPP gets healthy. Montre Moore has had his good moments. He's still very raw. You give him a couple more years, and you saw
him develop as the year went.
He could be the OC Umenyiora to the unit, what we had the last couple years when OC was on the team.
I agree with that. I can see it.
DeMontre Moore just has to stay on side. He always, for some reason, always loves.
He's excited. You know what? You even saw that in OC a lot.
Yeah.
So when you compare the two of them, you actually saw that in OC just as much.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Moore. He's the future. But the key is going to be, do you bring back a guy like Kiwanuka?
For the right price. The right price. Of course, you'd love to bring him back. He played.
He actually has 2 more years left.
I thought he was a free agent.
He's signed till 2016.
Oh, yeah, he was a free agent last year. I'm sorry. Okay, so our D-line is looking good. It was one of the most underrated parts to our team this year. The linebacking core, ever since John Beeson came onto the team, it was a completely different beast. It was great to see him. I always like Spencer Paysinger and Jaquan Williams, so those guys played pretty well.
The problem with the two of them is they're the same guy.
They are the same guy, and they were both undrafted rookies. Well, Jaquan was a 7th-round draft pick. Paysinger was undrafted. They're both really solid. I'm sure Keith Rivers is going to be not re-signed. Is what it is. But I definitely think we can keep Paysinger for cheap. He's pretty solid. And with Beeson on the unit, they'll be able to be at the right spots at the right time, and they don't have to worry about it, kind of thing. Jaquan Williams played great yesterday. Actually, he dropped a couple interceptions, but overall he played pretty well. He for a 7th-round draft pick, you definitely got a lot of value out of him the last couple of years, especially in his rookie year, obviously in the NFC Championship game. But that's 3 years already down the road.
Right.
So, all right, let's play keep or dump.
Okay, I'm going to go from the shitty players backwards.
Okay.
Make it skip the practice squad guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim Crodel.
Keep. Oh, these guys free agents?
Yes.
Okay. I keep.
Okay.
Is he restricted or unrestricted?
That I don't have. All I have is the free agency.
Okay.
Jermaine McBride.
He had a great year, but dump.
Yeah. I would actually keep him for the right price.
Yeah, for the right place, but there's
Prince him and Terrell.
I know, but for what the other people we could get back, I unfortunately he'll take the hit.
Curtis Painter.
Dump. You could get another.
Asby could be your backup.
Exactly.
Earl Thomas.
Keep. What a great story, him coming back after 3 knee surgeries and finally playing the way he played before he got hurt. He was arguably our best cornerback when he got hurt, so he's definitely coming back.
Hillis, Peyton Hillis.
I want to say keep for the right price.
Okay. Lewis Murphy. Ryan he fell off.
He did fall off, but that was because of Will Hill. I
thought he played well in the beginning of the year when they did let him play.
Dump because you're gonna have him, Stevie Brown and Will Hill.
He could be one of those guys you bring back if you don't think Stevie Brown can come back from the injury.
Yeah, he'll come back, but he can get cut in the preseason.
Aaron Ross, 31-year-old Aaron Ross.
He's already 31 years old. Jeez. He'll come back for the right price. Cheap enough. He wants to redeem himself.
Keith Rivers.
Dump.
Jacobs.
Retired.
Air Pasco.
Resign. He's very versatile and a good blocking tight end and fullback if we need. Connor Hernosky get hurt.
Booth.
Resign. He's very versatile on the offensive line, and you always need that.
He's young too. He's only 30. For an offensive lineman, that's young.
Yeah.
Mike Peterson, defensive end. Played defensive tackle a lot. Patterson.
I keep him for the right place.
Didn't really pay him too much, so why not? I think it's time for Sean Rogers to retire.
Yep.
Josh Brown. 34-year-old Josh Brown.
34-year-old Josh Brown. I keep him. Unless there's another guy.
I mean, kickers you can get. You can find guys on the street to get kickers. Paysinger. I know you're a fan of his.
I keep him. And he's going to be cheap enough.
Noski.
Him and the Terminator are going to
battle preseason.
For the preseason. But he definitely earned a spot to come back.
Andre Brown.
He deserves to come back. It's just, can he stay healthy for an entire season?
Stevie Brown. He's coming back, I think, because coming off an ACL, there's no way he doesn't come back. But that's just my opinion.
He's coming back. The Giants he's gonna come for the right price.
Okay. 25-year-old Linval Joseph. That's right, I said that. Linval Joseph's 25 years old.
It's gonna. I hate saying it, but just like the Coldfields and the Cedric Griffins and Cornelius Griffins and all the other Cedric. Just the defensive tackles. We have a lot of defensive tackles in our system that can grow, like Hankins and other players.
Who was the one that left for Oakland?
For Oakland,
after the first Super Bowl. I know Jabril went to Oakland, but there was another one. There was a defensive lineman who went to. Oakland.
Towelson, but that was the second Super Bowl.
No, there was another one.
I don't remember.
There was another one who got overpaid by somebody.
It was Cofield by the Redskins.
Was it Cofield? Was that the only one we lost?
Yeah.
Okay, Akeem.
Unfortunately, he's going to be gone.
He's going to go looking for money.
Yeah.
Brendan Myers, who actually has years left, but they're all club options.
I would bring him back. And I know I am in the minority in this.
Nope. I know you're not.
I'm not in the minority in this?
No, nobody really wants him back.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in the minority.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You want him back, you said. I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm in the minority. I think he started to gel with Eli towards the end of the year. He is he's not really that great at blocking tight end. I know you need that. But if he's another year under the belt and he's able to do what he's signed to do, he would be pretty decent. He had a rough year, but I think he could come back and prove himself next year.
All right, the main two guys. Buck?
Yes. You have to. He kept this team together. Him and Antrell Roll with the leadership on the defense and overall, just the team itself from being 0-6 to end the year in 7-3. It just shows how much of a leader he really is, and this team could easily quit any moment this season. So you gotta re-sign him and give him as much money as you need. Deal. Unfortunately, got to dump him. He's not the same a couple years ago, and I know he won us 2 Super Bowls, but we got to live on the future, and unfortunately, the past doesn't help. And you're forgetting one more person. Corey Webster is also a free agent. Keep or dump.
Is he a free agent?
Yes, he is.
He's actually not. He's got one more year. Remember, he's re-signed for another year.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because they changed his contract before the season.
Ew, I missed that one.
They gave him.
I don't remember that one.
Gave him another year for less money.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. All right.
But
so,
they're still going to cut him, in my opinion.
Yeah, he might be a cap casualty. You're right.
And I think him and Snee are both cap casualties, in my opinion.
Yeah, Snee might retire, though. He is old enough. And...
All right, how many more years are you going to give Eli? He's got 2 more years on his contract. So you're going to set
32 now? 33?
32 now. Going to be 33 going into next season. Because you got to think you're going to give him more years so that he can earn his money and you'll have more cap room.
All right, you said you have 2 more years?
You have 2 more years.
All right, I say give him 3 more years. Make it a 5-year extension. Overall 5-year extension.
So basically you're going to give him 5 years left to be a Giant.
Yeah, give him 5 years, but that doesn't mean he'll play out his 5 years in his tenure. But that's just the wheelhouse. He's been healthy his whole entire career, knocking on wood. People are not going to like the couple-year extension, but if we get the right system going and the right pieces back and fix our shattered offense from this year, obviously he can win another Super Bowl and another MVP. So I say 3 would be realistic. What do you think?
3 years. I agree with you on that one. With the 3 years, could always go with the 2 more years and then go year by year.
Of course, but I don't think they're gonna do that to Eli.
Or just give him 1 more year, where get him to 35 and then go year by year.
I don't see the Giants doing that with Eli with the whole year by year. They like to play, but make sure players have safety years under their belt. They don't like to do that, like unlike other teams, especially with the coaches as well. So.
All right, 7-9. Can't complain after starting 0-6.
Yeah, but it's really rough, especially on how crappy our division was.
Okay, I asked you this last week, and I told you to think about it for this week.
Okay.
Is this offseason big for Jerry Reese?
Of course it is. Every offseason is big.
Is this the one that will determine whether he's part of the future or not?
No. It'll be... Jerry Reese has been with the organization for so long, so they have a nice repertoire with him. So they're not gonna. He's gonna be the Giants GM for the long haul. But it really comes down to the draft. We've drafted good gems. We've drafted solid players, but this draft we have to hit home runs like we did in 2007 type of draft. We definitely need that wake up season. This offseason reminds me a lot of the offseason before the first Super Bowl run. Granted, the first Super Bowl run, the team started real hot and slumped towards the end, and they had
other way around.
They started hot and they had a big slump before the first Super Bowl.
You don't remember the first 2 games, do you? 80 points.
No, I'm talking about the year before that.
Oh, the year before that. Oh, okay. I thought you meant the year of.
No, I'm talking about the year before that, and they had a mutiny, and Coughlin should have gotten fired. Granted,
can we start those rumors now because we play a lot better?
Yeah, no. This next year with him being a free, playing out his contract, those rumors are gonna fly. I think the Giants fought around him, unlike other years. They're gonna play out the string with Coughlin. It's gonna be his choice if he wants to continue to coach or not. He definitely earned it with winning 2 Super Bowls and having the Giants play hard majority of the time. They need to get those key free agents. We finally actually have cap room, and we finally don't have since we won a Super Bowl, we have to repay everybody kind of thing. We're true. 2 years removed from that, so we're going to have a little bit more cap space. This year was one of those years we didn't have cap room because we won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and even the players from the first Super Bowl were getting paid from the first Super Bowl. So we're finally getting the cap room for everything like that, so we are able to get new pieces. It's just knowing the Giants and how conservative they are going to find the right players to fit, and hopefully they come ready to play hungry on August, because the NFC East is always a tough division, and it could be won by any of the 3 teams. And next year, can the Cowboys go 4 years in a row to lose on the last game of the year? Joking, of course, but... All
right, who do they play in the last week next year?
It's
got to be us, right? It's got to be the Giants.
Either the Giants or Redskins, because they wouldn't go back-to-back years, would they? They could. You never know. You never know.
You think Jerry Jones is lobbying for them to make them play like an AFC West team? or anybody other than.
Well, no, but honestly, though, I love how the last game of the year is the division opponent, and that makes it fun.
We got to make sure next year they don't have those 2 games within 3 weeks thing or something like that. Like, for example, the Chiefs and Broncos this year, and the Panthers and.
But that always happens. Honestly, you can't be perfect.
I'd rather do divisions early, everything else in the middle. You know, like
early
September,
and late, yeah.
October, and then December is your second.
I gotcha.
The end of December-ish.
I could see that, but in a perfect world, you can't have that. Unfortunately, they do it as perfect as they can. There's always teams that get screwed, but that's just how it is. With the Giants playing a third place schedule next year, things should be a little easier, but you never know year to year. But I'm kind of confident we can definitely rebuild from this year. It can easily be back to the promise in that contention hunt, and we were in it, considering we were 0-6 and we just lost the Cowboys. If we beat the Cowboys at MetLife Stadium, all things were off. All bets were off. But it wasn't in the cards this year.
They were due for one of these years.
Yeah, they were. And they absolutely were due for that.
The first losing season since Eli's rookie year.
Exactly.
So it was bound to happen. Every team has that year. It's just we have that expectation every year.
Yeah.
But I did find it very funny in the postseason press conference for John Mara. They asked him if his job was safe.
Yeah, that was funny. I heard that.
And his mom said, according to John Mara, he said, not according to my mother.
That's funny.
So, on that note, let's go play a little more intermezzo, and we're going to be right back with our special guest this week, Rob Barden, to talk about the Jets.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Hi, this is Clark Gillies from the New York Islanders. You're listening to the S&D Podcast Show. Go get them, boys.
And welcome back to the final episode of 2013, episode 59 of the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Intermezzo by our guest right now, Rob Barden. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Welcome, Rob.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, Steve.
Well, how about this? How about you give us a little background on Intermezzo before we move forward?
Well, I write a lot of music. Basically, that's what it is. I write power pop music, heavy metal. I always listen to heavy metal, and I've been writing. I guess this particular song took me about a half an hour to get together, but I do it all from my home studio. I do all the guitars, bass, and everything, and it's just a musical song, and that's all you really have to know about it.
Rob and I went to school at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting together, and that's how we know each other. I know Rob's a big Jeff fan. So,
yes, I am.
All right, let's jump into it. Your thoughts on the 8-8 season?
Well, I think we finish it up on a good note. Obviously not happy that we're not in the playoffs. There's a bunch of games that we should have won, like Buffalo. How do we go from beating the Saints to losing to Buffalo? I'll never know. But I think that we ended on a good note, and a big part of that is the guys are rallying around Rex Ryan because now he is going to be there. The general manager announced that in the locker room. I'm very pleased to say that Rex Ryan will be back next year. So I'll end it on a good note.
I absolutely agree with you. I'm actually really happy as well with that Rex is coming back. The Jets finally are showing some stability in their organization other than doing the quick find on firing Rex Ryan. He's actually been the greatest coach the Jets have had in a while. I absolutely agree with you on that. And next year, I think the Jets could be a playoff contender if they're able to get a few pieces on the offensive side of things. They can get Geno Smith year two progress instead of decline. What are you looking forward to in this offseason as a Jet fan?
I'm looking forward to. I mean, I was just looking over their roster, and besides Geno Smith, we all have to remember he's a rookie. You know, I think he did one hell of a job this year. He had his bad moments, of course, but he's a rookie in the NFL. it's a tall order to fill. And I think during the offseason, I don't think they're going to have to do too much. I mean, they've got a pretty stable team. The age range is in there. There's really nothing crazy. I mean, Ed Reed's 35. You know, I mean, their backup quarterback, Dave Girard, if they keep him, he's 35. So the age range is around the age that you want. A lot of young people. And I think that I don't think they're going to have too much of a big off season. I think they're just going to try to develop the people that they have.
Okay. Looking forward for the draft wise, what position are you thinking that the Jets should go after? Most importantly,
I think they should get a tight end. Now I know we've got about 5 tight ends, and I really didn't think Kellen Winslow did a great job this year. I think he was a bust.
Yeah, and he was suspended for 4 games on top of all that as well.
Right, and so if anything, get rid of Winslow. Let's look at a tight end that could fill that spot and help Geno out. I mean, I think that's the most important position right now is tight end. I think everybody else is pretty secure. A few people need to, just to develop, obviously, but other than that, I mean, I really don't see anything that they really super need.
Okay, I'm gonna go through a list of a couple guys who contracts are up, and I want your opinion on whether to keep them or not.
Yeah,
okay.
Keep or dump.
Okay.
Jeff Cumberland.
I'd keep him.
Yeah, I definitely keep him too. He actually had a surprising solid year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Smith. He was pretty much Geno Smith's safety blanket for the majority of the season.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. Outside linebacker Calvin Pace.
I would definitely keep Calvin Pace. He's been there for how long has he been there for?
Forever, pretty much. The last.
Yeah. So I would keep him. He's you're talking about stability. I would definitely keep Pace. That's a keeper.
Josh Cribbs.
Josh Cribbs, wide receiver.
I completely forgot he was on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. That's it. I could go middle of the road. I could say keep him or dump him on that one.
Okay.
You know what's funny, speaking of the Jets? I didn't realize Brad Smith was on the Eagles last night. Until last night. I was like, he's on the Eagles?
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa. Jet from the past. So that was kind of crazy.
The Jets surprisingly have a lot of guys locked up. The next big name is probably Nick Folk.
Folk, yeah, that's right.
I would keep him. The amount of points he scored for the Jets this year is definitely something I would keep.
Yeah, and he's only 29 years old. I'd keep him. I'd definitely keep him.
All right, now the oldest guy, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, I would definitely keep. I mean, if nothing, he is a veteran, and if he knows, Rex Ryan, I would definitely keep him. There's no way I would get rid of him. I mean, he's only 35. I think he's got a few years left, and he'll show that veteran showmanship in the locker room, and I think he would keep the Jets in a cohesive state, defensively anyway.
Okay, here's a name that still has another year on his contract,
but
I still want to get your view on.
Okay.
Cromartie. Keep dropping him or keeping him?
As many interceptions and as good plays he makes some bad ones too. I liked him at the beginning. I would say dump him.
Okay, another guy but still has years left, Santonio Holmes.
I've been kind of thinking about Holmes for a while now, and as long as he can get on board with what Rex is trying to do and get with a team and be cohesive with the team and be a team player, really. I mean, it's what it boils down to. He's had his moments, but if he can bring himself to the next level, I would keep him. If not, get rid of him.
No, I'm with you with Santonio Holmes. He's been a bust the last couple of years, and it's funny how he's been pretty much portrayed as a me guy the last couple of years. How towards the end of the year he was very, very forthgoing on, oh yeah, I'll do whatever the Jets want me to do to come back. So that comes to show you that he's starting to realize that he doesn't have too many options left, and him being so hurt the last couple of years. So that might actually help out the Jets next year if he comes back motivated, ready to play for 2014.
I agree.
And that actually helps Geno Smith. And if they do draft, because I personally think they need to draft a wide receiver along with Santonio Holmes coming back next year, possibly being healthy, they'll be able to be more stable. So it really depends on Santonio Holmes and Stephen Hill, who's been a bust so far the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. He's young. If he can get it together, if he can develop a little bit more, take his game to the next level, you should keep him too, because he's young. I mean, the younger they are, you can develop them more,
Yeah, he is a good running, blocking wide receiver, but you need your wide receivers to catch. But him coming out of Georgia Tech, a notorious running school, a lot of people are scratching their heads over that draft pick. So he needs to finally get it together. Now, maybe in his third year with the system, he might break out finally.
Agreed.
Refreshing to see.
All right, Rob. My question to you, though.
Yeah.
9th overall in the 2013 draft, the Jets take Dee Milner. What was your opinion on his rookie season?
He had an okay season, I thought. I mean, like I say, I mean, it's like a recurring thing with me. I like to see these players develop. Give them 1 or 2 years. If he can get it together, then let's see. Sorry. If he can get it together, then that's good for the Jets. If he can't, then scratch him.
Well,
that's what I say.
You got to think the hardest thing for him was to come in and be the basically watched by everybody. Yeah, because he was Darrelle Revis' replacement.
Yeah, I think he'll have a better. I think he'll bounce back next year. And this year he was replacing Darrelle Revis, and he wasn't healthy. He was a lot more hurt than he was coming out of the draft that they were hiding from the scouts and everything from draft day. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He had like 3 knee surgeries last year, three in the past couple of years. So I think it's him getting healthy and acclimated to the pro game, opposed to being one of the key studs at Alabama, opposing to be the one of the few shutdown corners in the NFL. DB is probably the hardest position in the whole entire league because of how pass happy this league has become. So you got to give DBs a couple years to formulate. Look at Prince Amukamara a few years ago. No Giant fans were happy that we drafted him, but this year you've never heard his name, and everybody loves it because he was very rarely beaten. So you got to take it easy with DBs, and they're like fine wine. The older they get, the better they turn out to be 9 out of 10 times. So I'm actually agree with you with Dean Milner.
I'll go with that too, because like I said earlier, you got Ed Reed, such a great veteran. Exactly. If he could mentor him, I think he would come around. I think it would be a great asset to the Jets,
especially him and Cromartie. If Cromartie does resign, that can definitely help him out. It shouldn't hurt him at all, as long as he has a great off season with the OTAs and training camp and everything. That he should have a bounce back year.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's up with the Jets? Do you think Muhammad Wilkinson got stubbed with the Pro Bowl this year?
Isn't it funny? Correct me if I'm wrong. No Jet or Giant is going to the Pro Bowl.
Yes, and there's actually figures the 1 year that there's a few players arguably who are able to should have made the Pro Bowl this year or shouldn't, like with the Giants' Antrell Roll this year with Muhammad Wilkinson and Richardson, both defensive ends for the Jets, both got stubbed this year. It's really interesting on how no one paid attention to Muhammad Wilkerson and Richardson this year. They were absolute beasts, stop the run and pass rush. That's great to see with the Jets with Rex Ryan's scheme. How excited are you for these two young guys, Wilkerson in his second year and Richardson as a rookie? You must be ecstatic having those two awesome pass rushers for the near future with the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got Rex Ryan. I mean, the guy is brilliant, and he's gonna mentor these guys. He's gonna get them in the right direction, and you're gonna see such a powerful defense next year. This year was kind of, where's Rex Ryan's defense? I'm telling you, next year, I think everybody's going to be excited about it. You're absolutely correct with those two guys.
Well, I think they were one of the top defenses in the league this year.
Yeah, it really was slacking in the secondary, which was surprising.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, they were third against the rush this year.
Yep.
And even the offense was 6th rushing this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the all-around passing game, defensively and offensively,
Yeah,
the Jets can improve that.
If the Jets improve that, they're a playoff team next year.
Right, exactly. Yes.
So 8-8.
Yes, 8-8.
You really can't complain about 8-8.
No, I'm not complaining.
Okay, what was your ideal expectation going into the year?
Into the year, well, obviously, it's always you want the best. I mean, when you brought Gino in, and you knew Sanchez was going to be out. You were just praying for the best. Like, this guy will catch on quick. He's going to be like an Andrew Luck, like just go out and kick some butt. But like I said earlier, he is a rookie. I mean, and it showed from time to time during the year. The expectations for me were really, really high. I mean, as is always, you're a New York fan. You're always thinking playoffs and Super Bowl, but they were really high. And when I look back on the whole season, I think they still did a really good job.
Absolutely, I think they did a phenomenal job. A lot of projections early in the season were saying that they're lucky if they got 3 wins, and I know a lot of people that me and Steve actually talked to were like laughing at us, asking, "What do you think what the Jets are going to be this year?" Especially on how bad the season was the year before. I think they really proved a lot of people wrong, and it just goes to show how good of coach Rex Ryan is. This definitely was his best coaching job this year, opposed to the other years he's had. Granted, he's taken the Jets to back-to-back AFC Championship games, but I think this year overall has been his best coaching job.
Absolutely.
Little later on, me and Steve are going to be doing GOATs and Heroes for all the New York sports teams. Who is your GOAT and hero for the 2013 season for the New York Jets?
Ooh, good question. Well, like I said earlier, Geno Smith has his up and downs, but the last 2 games, I would have to go with Geno Smith. He is looking so good. I think he's ready for next season already, and he's just ready to get out there and show even more of what he could be for the Jets. That would definitely be my hero. And
he's starting to run the ball more, which wasn't really one of his strong suits too. It's pretty good to see actually as well. They said he'll run, but if he absolutely has to, but he definitely has shown he can run if he has that will to run. So the last couple of weeks he's had a couple of rushing touchdowns. So it's been refreshing to see with that. What about a GOAT? There has to be at least one GOAT this year.
Oh man. Well, he's been on the sideline all year, Sanchez. I don't know if there was really a GOAT in the. Let me look at my players here. I got my chart in front of me. I'm not really looking at anybody that's sticking out as a sore thumb for the Jets right now. Like I said, we were talking about mentoring people and everything. I think just people need to realize that they're in the NFL. They need to step up their game. And if there's anybody that was bad, I really can't think of anybody offhand.
Well, you did mention Kellen Winslow earlier in the.
Yeah, well, Kellen Winslow. Okay, if I had to stick with somebody like that as a GOAT, it would definitely be Winslow because that was a bust.
Okay. No, yeah, those are that's pretty spot on. Geno Smith definitely had his ups and downs. He, for the most part, when he's played well, he played absolutely well. I know me and Steve are big fantasy guys, and it was pretty funny on the trends. Like every time Geno Smith had a good game, he would score over 20 points a game, and then when Geno Smith would have his rough game, he would score under 10 points. And in fantasy football, that's pretty bad, as you can tell. So it's really funny on how his highs were really high and his lows were really low. And if you can manage his mistakes, the sky's the limit for him. And he was solid in college, so he had a great pro system in college. So he could definitely, actually he ran the spread. So it's going to be different. He has to be acclimated to the pro system more because he was a spread quarterback.
Right.
So
he was coached well in West Virginia. I completely agree and agreed. Had his ups and downs, but I think those downs are going to be turned to ups next year. Absolutely.
All right. The way we saw Sanchez, though, he actually kept falling down, basically, when it came to his development. Is that a fear of yours with Rex Ryan being the head coach with Gino? He couldn't fully develop Sanchez, who, of course, the first 2 years.
Well, here's the thing with that, Steve, and I've always said from the beginning when Mark Sanchez first came on board, I was not happy with the situation because I didn't think he had the experience. Now, when you look at Andrew Luck coming in there, he looked like a true quarterback coming in. Boom, he's just kicking butt, just like Geno Smith this year. Even though he was a rookie, he looks like a quarterback. Sanchez, to me, always looked timid and scared and not know what to do and panicking and this and that. I don't think, and I just a little side note, hopefully, I like Sanchez, I guess, a little bit, but if they get rid of him, I'm not going to shed a tear over it. But I think Ryan's going to have a good rapport with Geno Smith and bring him along nicely.
I think it's a little bit different. Geno Smith actually played 4 years in college,
Right.
Opposed to Mark Sanchez, who only, granted, had a better legacy playing in USC. Sanchez only played 1 full year at USC.
Right.
And that plays a lot into the psyche of being a quarterback. I could actually see where you're coming from, and I could, after looking at it, stepping back real quick while you were saying that, you're absolutely right. Geno Smith did play 4 years, and it was 4 awesome years. He's played in BCS bowls. Sanchez was right before the sanctions with the USC.
Yep.
So he played great, but they weren't the Pete Carroll USC guys with Reggie Bush and Leinart and all those players. So he had the great tools, but he played very sparingly in college. And then that 1 year propelled him to be a first-round draft pick, but he wasn't ready for that, being that tag first-round draft pick. Granted, he did carry... He game managed the Jets to 2 AFC championship games.
Right.
Opposed to carrying them to 2 AFC championship games. So,
Agreed on that, Dan.
So I think with the Jets, they need I think Chris Ivory is a solid running back. I think if they are able to get a change of pace running back along with their running game that they have this year, I think they would be all system goes. They're missing those 2 pieces to be a legit playoff contender for next year. And it's all about the off season on where they get the offensive pieces. That's all they're missing. I think their defense is legit, obviously.
Yep.
They're arguably the best defense in the league. But it's all about the offensive pieces. They need to protect Geno, and it starts with the offensive line as well. They've had their moments of being able to protect them, but other times big glaring holes. Other than Mangold and Ferguson, there is glaring holes every now and then. So the Jets have their hands filled out this year's draft and free agency to step up the offensive front.
I definitely agree with you, Dan, on that.
Okay, Rob. So,
Yes, sir.
I personally think they need that speed back.
Yeah, I I have a Curtis Martin jersey. So, what a great running back he was. And you brought up a good point with Chris Ivory. We can get him going. I think he'd be a great asset. But who else we got? We got Powell. Let's see. Renaud, right?
Right.
If one of these guys can break through and really prove themselves next season in the preseason and everything, I think that'll be a good start. The one thing I did want to bring up is that I kind of believe in a way that the Jets should go kind of old school with their running game. I think they would have a really good chance of getting into the postseason next year if they had maybe a couple of really good fullbacks who could get that running game going. Geno's game, I'm sure, would open up big time.
Yeah. You got to protect Geno first off. Also,
that's true.
So a good running game protects the quarterback.
Right.
Because it takes all the pressure off of him. You just keep handing the ball. There were games this year you saw where they gave the ball to Ivory, and Ivory won the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah.
Powell had a great stretch in the beginning of the year as well, which they can build up on that as well. They definitely need the speedster, which Powell could be at times, but but they definitely need a guy who can be that game changer that the Jets desperately need. They don't.
Yeah,
have that,
they need somebody that's going to be consistent too.
The
I
Jets
mean,
don't have that game changer. That
They haven't
team
had
can.
that since Thomas Jones, in my opinion. In the run.
yeah, agreed.
All right, let's talk a little playoffs.
All right,
Playoffs of this week.
let's do it.
First off, the Chargers made the playoffs somehow.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not a big fan of Rivers. Just not. I really wish the Chiefs won that game. I mean, Suck Up should have nailed that. But did you guys know that when they were kicking the field goal, the Chargers had 8 guys on one side of the line, and that should have been a penalty, which the referees didn't see.
Yes, I heard about that today.
Chaps my hide sometimes. But what are you going to do? I mean, that would have been, what, 5-yard penalty?
Yeah, but he would have had a re-kick.
Yeah, we had a re-kick, and it would have gone through. I'm sure of it. But, that's, it's the best reality TV show out there. Yeah, not a big fan of Rivers, not a big fan of the San Diego Chargers, but they're in. Let's see. So who do we got in the AFC?
Chargers at the Bengals.
What's
Start
that?
with that matchup? The Chargers at the Bengals. Let's get.
I want the Bengals to win. I think they will. I think they will win at home. Send the Chargers home.
I'll tell you what. They must be so happy they don't have to play the Texans.
Oh yeah, good point. They played them the last couple of years.
The past 2 years, they've been the hot team going into playoffs, but they end up going to Houston that first weekend.
Yeah.
And just like, what? Same thing all the year. Have a good one. It's kind of like the Cowboys playing in Week 17. You think the fans would be used to it by now, but no.
Cowboys, well, they're gone, so I don't have to worry about them. I don't know. I don't understand why they're America's team, man. I can't stand the Cowboys. I guess I just grew up, family from Pittsburgh, and, I'm from New York, and we just never loved the Cowboys at all.
Yeah, no one likes Cowboys other than Cowboy fans.
Right, exactly.
They're that team.
And the ones that think Romo are cute, so they wear his jersey.
Yeah. Well, he's out. He had surgery already, didn't he?
Right, he had surgery Friday.
Yep.
All right, the other AFC matchup is the Kansas City Chiefs at the up-and-coming Indianapolis Colts. A rematch from a couple weeks ago where the Colts won in Kansas City.
Yeah, this is going to be a big game, obviously for both teams. Big game. I really, let's see. I would just go with the Chiefs. Not by much, but I would go with the Chiefs. Just Andy Reid brought that team from nowhere to the big stage. And I think the team is going to respond to that. So I think the Chiefs are going to take that.
Okay. Dan and I, of course, will be doing our picks a little later. Let's move over to the NFC.
Sure.
The Eagles hosting the New Orleans Saints.
This game's going to be the highest scoring game, you would think.
You think? I think it's going to be a really good game, just like the Colts and Chiefs. But I think the Eagles are going to take it. Now, what do you guys tell me? Because I know the Saints. How good are they away?
Not good at all.
Not good at all. Right. So I really think the Eagles catapulting with Foles. Who's the quarterback?
You
Foles,
had it right.
Yeah, Foles.
Foles. I think he's just phenomenal. I've been watching him, and he is just amazing. Like, he just stepped in like he's been playing for 10. It reminds me of Bledsoe and Brady. When Bledsoe got hurt and Brady stepped in, this is exactly what this reminds me of. And I think Foles is going to take him.
He did look a little starstruck last night, though. He in the second half, he looked a little starstruck. But at the end of the day, they did win. So he did make the plays that they needed to last night.
Yep.
But he did look like a second-year guy in the key situation. But I think he'll be ready for Sunday. They play.
I think so too.
Saturday night.
They play Saturday night. I'm sorry. I think he'll be ready Saturday night.
Yeah, I just don't see the Saints doing it. I mean, they've got a great team and everything, but they're away. They're going to be playing at what stadium is that? Not MetLife. What is it called?
Lincoln Financial.
That's it, Lincoln Financial. I just see the Saints not doing well. Not in that game. No.
All right, and the final NFC game is the 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. The
I'm
8-7-1 Green Bay Packers, my night.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was talking to my father about this today, and he couldn't believe my prediction. I'm going with the Packers. I don't know that right now the 49ers are ahead by points in Vegas by what, 3, 4, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're favored right now.
I just don't see it. I'm not a Kaepernick fan, 1. 2, I just don't see them winning at Green Bay, man. Just don't see it. Aaron Rodgers looked great yesterday. What a great win over the Bears. I mean, that was awesome. And I just don't see the 49ers going in there. I think it'll be a tight game, but towards the fourth quarter, I think you're going to see that excuse me, I think you're going to see that the Packers are going to take that game. I really do. I think it's going to be an upset.
Okay. All right, Rob. Before we let you go, you know the teams in the playoffs.
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Panthers, Seahawks, Patriots,
And Broncos are the other 4 teams.
Yep.
Super Bowl prediction. Who's playing?
I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I'm definitely going with the Broncos. I think he's going to get over what happened last year. I think he's going to get over it. He is the man. I mean, look at the record that he broke this year. He is just on fire. I'm picking the Broncos all the way.
Okay.
Now, as far as the NFC, I'm really thinking. I think it's the Seahawks year. It's either going to be the Packers or the Seahawks, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks. So I'm going to say Broncos, Seahawks, and as the winner, definitely going with the Broncos.
All right, Rob. Thank you very much for joining us.
Rob.
Thank you guys, man. It was a pleasure, man. Had a great time.
We're going to go play a little bit more of his song, Intermezzo, and we'll be right back after this.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Back to the S&D Podcast show on the Schmuck Sports Network, episode 59. Once again, that song is Intermezzo by our good friend Rob Barden. Once again, also, thank you to him for joining us just now. That was a great segment with him.
Great segment. Definitely a lot to look forward for in the Jets' future coming back for next season.
All right. 2013 ends.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. So where are you heading with
Where are we
this?
starting? We're going to do our goats
Goats and heroes.
and our heroes.
All right. There's
You know
been a
what
lot
they say.
more goats than heroes this season.
All right, let's start with sports that aren't playing right now.
Okie dokie.
Let's go with the Bronx Bombers.
Bronx Bombers, you got to give a Lifetime Achievement Award for hero with Mariano Rivera.
There won't be any other hero on that team. We both have to agree on that one.
Yeah, Lifetime Achievement Award with that, with Mariano. With GOAT, you can go one of 2 ways. The drama filled with A-Rod on just the continuous drama situation of him and him always being hurt the last couple of years and not playing up to his worth and his declining skills. Or you can go with Robinson Cano on leaving the Yankees for more money with the going off to Seattle for...
But now he gets to grow out a beard.
Oh, whoop-dee. You can go one of the 2 ways, but I'll go with A-Rod for the GOAT for the Yankees this year. Because Cano did play well for the Yankees, but ended it bitterly.
I think I'm going to go with the front office for the Yankees. They did. It's like the first time probably in our whole lives they didn't go out and improve the team.
Yeah, they needed spots to improve the team, but the most important thing was pitching, and they haven't gotten any of it yet. And that's been the biggest glaring hole this whole entire season. Of the second time of them not making the playoffs in 20 years, and that's crazy to see. They definitely need to upgrade the pitching. Perotta was good in the first half, completely fell off the second half. Sabathia was not the Sabathia of old this season for some reason, and Nova was good. He was the saving grace to the team this year, but he's still very young, so the jury's still on him. They're really expecting Pineda to come back. They did trade Montero for him, so they're expecting to have him be the young ace of what hopes to be the armor of the future for the Yankees. And the injuries have prevented him to become that guy so far. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right, let's go to the Mets.
There's only one guy you got to name for the hero of the year. Unfortunately, he got hurt halfway through the year, and you're going to miss him through the whole 2014 season. But Matt Harvey, just everything, he changed the culture of the Mets, and every fifth day, everybody wanted to watch his start, and he has lights-out stuff. He started the All-Star game. I'm sure if he played the full season, I'm sure he would have had more Cy Young considerations. So there's a no-brainer. Matt Harvey is the hero for the 2014 Mets.
Okay, my hero is going to be Eli Jr.
Okay, that's a good one. The very underrated pick.
We picked him up for nothing, and you saw a little spark. You saw that leadoff hitter they were missing.
Of course.
And he did. Granted, it wasn't a full year. He did bring a nice spark to the team.
Yeah, he did.
So he's going to be my hero. Goat-wise,
You got to go Ike. For another down season. He got sent to the minor leagues unlike past years. It was just an ugly year, and he's still having the low batting average, and he didn't have the 30 home runs to back it up this year. He just wasn't getting it done with the bat. And
my goat's going to be Lucas Duda. Always he just underachieves every year. I feel like you see the power that he can have.
Yeah, but that's once every 50 at bats.
Exactly. And he can't play the field.
No.
I'm just sick of Lucas Duda, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Let's move on to some hoops.
Knicks. All right.
You want to go Knicks first? All right.
We'll go Knicks first.
I know you're on I know you want to go on a little rant on your goat.
Yeah. Hero has to be Melo. He did win the scoring title. He's still the best player on the Knicks team. Granted, on how bad they've been playing so far, he's still the go-to guy for the Knicks. For the GOAT, it has to be J.R. Smith. It has to be J.R. Smith. You could also say Amari Stoudemire, but it has to be J.R. Smith. He did win the Sixth Man of the Year award last year. Great, that was fine. The minute he elbowed Jason Terry, he became a non-factor in the playoffs and was a complete bust and helped the Knicks lose to the Pacers quicker than everybody expected. And so far this year, he's been an absolute bust, and he hasn't been hot yet. And then today, on December 30th, the Knicks released his brother Chris Smith, and he publicly went on Instagram, and posted a picture of Sharon Stone and Robert De Niro from Casino about betrayal. And he goes, "What else is new?" or something along those lines. And he feels betrayed that they cut his brother. Listen, your brother wasn't a key piece to this team. He was the 12th man at best. It was just a favor to you. It's a business, and they don't owe you anything. They pay you millions of dollars to play for the greatest city in the world in front of your hometown, and that's how you're gonna act like a baby. You're always out partying at the middle of the night. Come home and you expect to. You don't play with your money's worth, and it's getting really tiring. I wouldn't be shocked if the Knicks try to trade him, but the thing is, with his reputation, no one's going to really want to trade him. So it's going to be interesting to see with the Knicks what they're going to do with J.R. Smith, because he clearly is becoming the cancer everybody was worried about with J.R. Smith.
I agree with that one. All right, my hero is going to be Tyson Chandler.
Okay, yeah.
Because you've noticed in the playoffs last year,
even though he was hurt, though.
Exactly. You noticed how much he means to the team.
Yes.
That's what you've noticed at a Tyson Chandler. So he is my hero. And my goat's going to be Prigioni. He's done absolutely nothing.
Okay.
All season.
So far, he also has been hurt the last couple of weeks. So.
Okay, but he's still been... Has he really been that big of a factor on the team?
No, but he does what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to play good, solid defense as a backup point guard. Get the ball going a little bit. If you want to go facts from this year alone, Raymond Felton as well. He's been hurt all season. Hasn't been able to get healthy. That definitely doesn't help the Knicks situation right now as well. But I'm definitely going with J.R. Smith. That's an easy one.
Okay. Brooklyn
Nets. I'm gonna go Brook Lopez. Granted, he's gonna be out for the rest of 2014, rest of the season. But he was an all-star last year, and he proved his worth last year on being one of the most underrated players in the league. Goat, it would have to be Darren Williams. He has his key moments of being an all-star, but he's not playing the elite point guard that he was signed to become. He gets hurt every now and then, and he was nowhere to be found in the playoff series against the Chicago Bulls when the Nets needed him the most. So I'm going to go with Darren Williams as the GOAT.
Okay, my hero's going to be Andre Blatch.
Okay.
Because he's the momentum guy on that team.
Okay, yeah.
He's that guy off the bench who comes in, makes the big play when you need it, and plays good defense. Even if it's a big block or a big dunk, he's the guy who does it. So he's going to be my net hero. My net GOAT's going to be Jason Kidd.
Okay, that's a good one.
I do not like him as a head coach.
Yeah,
Went from no experience coaching to becoming a head coach.
That was the dumbest move because they had a win now team, but they went with the coach that needed a few years to become that team, the contend kind of thing, and that scratched a lot of people's heads when that happened. They should have went with a more experienced coach for that to actually happen, and a lot of people scratched their heads when Jason Kidd became head coach.
Exactly. All right, what sport you want to do next?
Might as well do football since both teams are eliminated.
Okay. Let's start with the Jets. I'm gonna go as my hero with the entire defensive line from 2013. Not just one guy. I thought the entire defensive line played well. As for my GOAT, I'm gonna go Santonio Holmes.
Okay, I could.
Granted, he's been up and down with injuries, but you know what? He's done absolutely nothing. He hasn't filled his contract ever as a Jet. I feel like he's been the GOAT for 2 years now.
You're absolutely right on both scenarios. If you're gonna go unit, you definitely go defensive line. If you're gonna go one particular person, you gotta go Muhammad Wilkerson, who's definitely played his butt off. Second-year pro. He played great this whole entire season, and he definitely got stubbed for the Pro Bowl. I'm sure they'll find a way to get him in there. As for GOAT, I agree with you with Santonio Holmes. I think just the front office. Isaac played okay for his first full year as the general manager. There's a lot of moves that were lacked to be desired. There's a couple pieces that they need to improve on next season that they could easily improve on to become a playoff team, like getting a wide receiver like we mentioned in the segment with Rob. So I'm going to go with Santonio Holmes and the front office on how they dealt with Mark Sanchez.
Okay. G-Men.
G-Men. Hero, I'm going to have to go with Antrell Roll, without a doubt. Like I said before the season, he should become the captain of the team, one of the captains of the team. He did so. He led the team in tackles. He got 6 interceptions. He played absolutely great when the Giants needed him to play great the most, and he did not let the team fold when they were 0-6. For that part alone, I think he is our MVP of this year's Giants team, without a doubt. How about yourself?
My hero is going to be John Beeson.
Okay.
Because they brought him in.
They started to win.
And they started to win. Not just that, but I feel like he basically... he's solid.
Yeah.
He made everything solid.
Yeah.
And...
I agree 100%.
So he's my hero. I'm going to have to go with Akeem Nicks.
You got to go with Akeem Nicks because he never found the back of the end zone. Granted, he had over 800 yards receiving. It was the quietest 800 yards receiving, other than the Eagle game at home. We were still, when we went 0-5. My GOAT, unfortunately, he is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and I still love him. It has to be Eli Manning. He led the league in interceptions, and he just pressed too much. That's what happens with Eli when he knows he has to do too much. He didn't make it so easy for himself, and he threw picks at the most crucial times, and definitely cost the Giants a few games this year where they had a shot of winning, but because he pressed and threw too many interceptions. Unfortunately, I have to pick Eli as the GOAT of the year.
All right.
But he will bounce back next year. So.
All right, let's move to some puck.
Move some puck. How about the Rangers? Who's your hero and GOAT?
Okay, my hero is going to be Callahan.
Okay.
Because, as you know, he is my favorite player on that team. He just doesn't ever stop moving. Mm-hmm. Even though you can argue this year he's kind of a GOAT because of all the injuries. But my GOAT's actually going to be interesting. It's going to be Mark Stahl. Okay. He's becoming injury prone.
Yeah, but it's been fluky.
Exactly. It's a fluky injury prone, which can scare you.
Yeah.
Especially because he got a big contract a couple years ago. Now you're going to be afraid. Also, by the way, the only other hero I would have had was McDonough.
Okay.
He would have been the number 2.
Okay.
Those are my heroes and goats for the Rangers.
Okay. All right. For me with the Rangers, I would have to say Rick Nash for one of them. He's proven that he is could be still the elite goal scorer when he has the opportunity. Derek Stefan has had a great year so far. Well, the good the season last year and so far this year. But I would have to go with Henrik Lundqvist, of course. He's been the backbone of the Rangers team. And he actually has a defense in front of him this year, which helps him out. As for GOAT, unfortunately, gotta go with Brad Richards. Last year, he was nowhere to be found, and the Rangers are contemplating to not pick up his contract to this year. Buy him out. They brought him back, but he's been so far pretty quiet. He's been the quarterback of the power play so far this season. He's still kind of quiet, and you kind of hope he bounces back. So he's my GOAT for this year so far.
Okay. New York Islanders.
The obvious hero for the Islanders is John Tavares. Needless to say why. GOAT, I would have to say Jack Capuano, without a doubt. The Islanders took a huge step back this year after making the playoffs last year on being a playoff contention team. Granted, they were the 8th seed. They definitely did not make the right adjustments on getting better, and just the in-game adjustments are just lacking. The Islanders play 40 good minutes. They know how to play 2 periods. They blow a lot of leads still, and for a playoff team to do that is really disappointing. You'd expect a better team. Granted, a still very young team, but a team that's made it to the playoffs not make those same stupid mistakes night in and night out. And for that has to be on the coaches for just instilling discipline on the team. I know after a while the players phase out after a while, and I think the players are starting to do that a little bit. So Jack Capuano is definitely my GOAT so far for the 13th season.
All right, my hero is Kyle Okposo. If he doesn't make Team USA, it's an outrage. First off, he deserves it. He's earned it. He's been the best player on the team since the playoff series. My GOAT's going to be Michael Grabner. The guy had 30 goals 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. He's had, I think, a combined 20 in 2 years. And it's been really bad. And he's only on pace for like 7 this season.
Yeah.
And so he is my GOAT. Those are heroes and GOATs for 2013, though.
Yeah, hopefully they're not on our list next year. A lot of disappointment, as you hear in our tones of voice with all the New York sports teams right now.
Yes.
It could only get better. So we're hoping for a better 2014.
So on that note, 2014, the NFL playoffs. Let's talk a little NFL playoffs.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to go in order of the way the games are going to be played for the wild card weekend. All right, first game we got going is the number 5 seed in the AFC versus the number 4 seed in the AFC. The Chiefs at the Colts.
What do you think in this game? I'm still leaning towards the Chiefs. I don't know. They've been great all entire year. They've been in a slump. They pulled all their starters out yesterday against the Chargers, and they still almost a couple of breaks that sure went their way. Go their way that prevented the Steelers making the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. What do you think?
I like the Colts a lot, but I like the Colts in the future.
Yeah.
I did think they were winning the division this year.
Yeah.
But I think next year they're gonna start taking that next step.
Yeah.
I think when Brady and Peyton retire, Colts are gonna be that team that start going on that. Is this the other way in the Super Bowl runs?
I'm with you, and I wouldn't be shocked if they pull out the win, of course. But I think the Chiefs have been they're better this year. They're just overall better team this year. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
I agree with you on that one. Okay, next game Saturday night. I apologize. By the way, the Colts Chiefs game is at 4:30 Sunday on NBC. Saturday. Colts by 2. By the way, it's a spread.
All right, I'm definitely taking the Chiefs.
All right. Sunday night on NBC at 8:10. Saturday night. Why do I keep saying Sunday?
Because you're used to saying Sunday for football.
Saints at Eagles.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Eagles are just a hot hand. The Saints are just a different team from home and road. You can just tell by the teams that they lost to on the road this year. They're a completely different animal. Obviously, Jimmy Graham and threes are going to keep them in the game, but the Eagles are going to find a way to pull it out. Their offense is too explosive, especially at home, especially against the Saints on the road. So I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, I got to go with the Eagles as well. The only thing that can stop the Eagles is a good defense, and I think the game's going to be high scoring.
The Saints are going to be the Saints are very average defensively. They've definitely gotten a lot better. They were historically bad last year, so they improved, but they're just an average defense, especially on the road. They're very, very mediocre. So I see the Eagles winning it.
Okay, now we'll go to Sunday. How does that sound?
Finally. Okay.
All right. Oh, for the first game, we know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is rooting for.
Go Chargers, go!
Okay, so now we know who's Schwarzenegger, as you just heard.
Unfortunately, I don't agree with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. 6.5 for Cincy, by the way.
Cincy is a different animal at home.
And like we said in Rob's talk, they don't have to play the Texans.
Yeah. They're winning the first round. The first round of the playoffs. Doesn't mean they're going to win the rest of the playoffs. But I could see them. They'll definitely beat the Chargers. The Chargers are lucky to make the playoffs after all the lucky breaks they had last week. All things considered, congratulations for them to make the playoffs, but they're definitely going to be a one-and-done team. Because the Bengals are just a different beast at home than a road. Just like we talked about with the Saints on the last game. But I got them playing and winning this round.
So do I. 6.5 Cincy, by the way.
I'll take them.
You're going to take the points, you think? I just don't like Rivers.
I like Rivers. I don't like the rest of the team.
All right. The night game, the 4 o'clock game on Fox on Sunday.
The best game of the week.
Niners at Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
It's going to be
2.5 San Francisco, by the way.
It's going to be a good game against San Francisco. They are my Super Bowl pick at the start of the year, so might as well stick with them. I still think they have a shot at the Super Bowl. They're just a hot team right now. Obviously, that changes with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, but San Francisco has a better defense and a much better defense than the Bears, so they can definitely get Aaron Rodgers a little bit rusty.
I think the Packers are going to ride the Aaron Rodgers return train, at least for this week. And remember, they got blown out last year going to San Francisco.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Payback is definitely in store for the Niners. But I'm just going with pure defense and just being able to bringing in defense in a running game to a cold weather game. I just like the Niners. They're just too hot right now.
All right, I'm taking the Packers in that game.
And I'm taking the Niners in points.
All right, 2013 is over.
2013 is over. I can't wait for a better and awesome 2014. Before we leave tonight, we can't say thank you to a lot of people that helped us out through 2014.
Let's just go through the list of guests, basically.
Pretty much. We can't stop and thank Adam Rank for coming on a bunch of times.
Chris Brockman from NFL.com.
Both of them from NFL Network.
Mike Laverty did a couple of shows with us. Matt and Kayla. With our football picks. Who else? Darren from the 7 Line, of course. Yes, Tommy Heyman joined us a couple times. Tyler Gilden. All of 329. We've had Pinhead and 329. Keith, of course. Our good friend Andy and his son Andrew, both from Eyes and Isles and Blue Line Station. Yes, Division 1.1.
Division 1.1, of course. Schmuck Sports, of course.
License
plate guy.
Lisa, happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday to Lisa. She can't wait for 2014 to start as well.
Dan from Hockey Buzz. Dan Friedman from a couple weeks ago.
WFN.
Alex from the Nets fan club. Rob Carlin. My good friend Jared. My manager from work, Ian, as well. Who else are we missing?
That's about it. If we're forgetting you, we apologize, but we thank you as well.
Of course. Can't wait to see what 2014 brings.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year.
So keep sharing our page. Keep listening to our show. We thank everybody and anybody who has listened and supported us over 2013. We've expanded in 2013, and we can only imagine what 2014 is going to bring us. Yeah. So happy, safe, most importantly, safe New Year to everybody. Yes. Dan, you and your family.
You
happy
too.
Holiday.
Same with you.
And we'll see everybody in 2014.
See you in 2014.